right? So I'm setting up my practice so I practice the way I want to. When I'm in clinic, I'm not doing the things that I don't enjoy. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast, very introspective episode. We're talking about the journey I've went through from starting cold to where I'm at now, the different hats that I've worn and the ones that I want to wear in the future. This is the Ultimate OD Podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. Thank you for the likes, the listens, everyone that's been on this journey with me. I don't know if you guys saw, I had an article published in the Review of Optometric Business. Super proud of that. I love sharing my journey. I love optometry. It's really cool to see the next phase of my optometric career. So I spent the past 14 years, as I record this, I'm on my 14th year anniversary of the office. Oh my goodness. And I feel like I'm just getting started. That is a really cool place to be. But when I first started, I just wanted to have a business, right? Wanted to have $1 million practice and just wanted to do optometry. I didn't know what that meant, and I learned a lot along the way. But I figured out the clinical side of it, and I worked really stinking hard. And what I realized was I was trading time for money. Now realize a very privileged position to be in. Not complaining at all, but if I didn't work, we didn't get paid, right? So the next step was a bigger space, add another doctor, have a business where if I'm not there, it still runs. I have that now, right? It's really cool. It's really starting to get wheels where we have systems in place where you can remove me, remove key members of the team, and it will still function, right? I sat down with my office manager and we looked at clinical care. We looked at our front desk, our optical, and our marketing team. And we realized that front desk, you can pull anyone out, just throw someone in there, and it's an ecosystem that runs by itself. And I asked her, why is optical not that way? And her response was, well, it kind of is, except to a point. And I go, that's the thing. What are those checkpoints? What are those bottlenecks? And we are now working on finding where we get to a bottleneck and writing a system so they have a place to report to. So it's not a limiting factor that comes to me or comes to her, that we can have a process in place so this machine will run and it'll keep running. So that's been really cool to see. I'm adding another doctor, might be expanding to a new location, might be take my dry eye center and making it a referral center on its own. A lot of different options from a business standpoint. I'm excited about that future. Now, in addition to that, as you can see, I'm writing for Optometric Business. I had the opportunity at the Minnesota Ocular Surface Disease Symposium. That was a riot. I worked with doctors in a workshop and showed them how to use Tixel, which I think is awesome. I've added RF and mode version. I have luminous OptiLight. We have Tixel. We have interior segment cameras. I like the idea of being able to mentor and work with other doctors, help them do what I do, help them start their practices and show them what to do. I don't think I want to be a consultant full time, but I like that mentorship aspect. That's something that I'm exploring. Martin Carroll at the Cheyenne Vision Clinic, again, one of my mentors who I feel he showed me what optometry can be. And he's been very involved in the Wyoming Optometric Association, stuff that he does. I was approached by the MOA. We need members of the community to talk to the legislators in our area, in our district. I might reach out and do that. I don't really care about the politics. I care about optometry being a legislative profession. How some doctors can't do oral medication, some couldn't do glaucoma medication drops, right? How some doctors can do laser procedures and I can't, do injections and I can't. I want optometry to be at the forefront of patient care. I want us to be able to do everything within our scope of practice. I think that's awesome. I think the future of optometry is everything outside of surgery, right? And that's how I'm positioning my practice. I know that doesn't happen by itself. That there's great people that came before me that have allowed me to practice at the scope I have, and I want to do that for the profession as well. So that's something that I'm exploring. I think it's really cool that I still get to do clinical patient care. I like being in clinic, that 3 days a week, but I'm doing less and less refractions, more and more specialty care, and I really stinking enjoy that. My first P3 conference, I put it out there like, do I do the dry eye? Does she do the dry eye? How is this going to work? And they're like, why don't you just pay someone to do the refractions and you do what you enjoy doing? Like, I don't know if I can do that. I think I can do that now, right? So I'm setting up my practice so I practice the way I want to. When I'm in clinic, I'm not doing the things that I don't enjoy. It's a really privileged spot to be in, but that's awesome. Now, 3 days a week is, I think, where my time lies. I'm coaching football right now. I can set up my clinical schedule that during football season, I can get to practice. I think that's amazing. As my kids get older, I want to be able to be at their practice, at their games. So you see what I'm outlining here is the evolution of my optometric journey, right? And as I go through this, my priorities are changing. The way I spend my time is changing. Thursdays right now, I meet with all staff members. We have one-on-ones. It's my work on the business day. Fridays, I don't necessarily go into practice, but I am working on it, right? Thinking about how I'm going to optimize optical. How do I optimize systems? I'm thinking in bigger terms than what I used to. Creating systems, teams, culture, vision for the practice. Talking to one of my friends, and we had this conversation of, we work really stinking hard to get to the point that we are right now. However, there's going to be a point where if you're not putting time, effort, and energy into growing the practice, you will stagnate. And if you don't surround yourself with a team that wants to keep pushing the edge, you're going to start losing margins, right? Payroll, doctor's hours. You don't want to be in the clinic as much as you once were. What do you do? And that's something that I consciously think about on a daily basis. I am always going to be pushing the envelope, trying to move forward. That's what one my associate was asking. Like, we're not quite where she's fully booked out right now, but I'm bringing on another doctor. Now, we've negotiated things, so she'll be taken care of, but I know we're going to be growing. I know where we're going to be in another year because I've tracked good KPIs. I've looked at what the growth curve has been. I know what I'm going to start doing in terms of comprehensive exams. We're going to need someone to fill that void. So I'm putting pieces in place. I think the key to not getting where you're stagnated, where you're not growing, where you're losing margins, is to always be moving forward a little bit. Now, you don't have to do it at the same pace you did when you first started out. The past, 3 years, I've been going gangbusters, pedal to the metal, as hard as I can freaking go. Now, I know that's kind of my personality, and to say that I might not always be doing that is weird to me in that sense, but I'll do it in a different way. I'll always be moving forward, just not necessarily at the pace that others think I should be doing it. And who are these other people? Who are the other people that say you should be doing it at a different pace? As long as you're growing, right? So always have 1 or 2 irons in the fire to give us the avenues for growth. Whether that's looking at another office location, bringing on a business manager that's going to take over some of these day-to-day operations, me changing how I do my clinical care so I'm down to less days and I'm doing a lot of that growth phase, that's big picture stuff. I know there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm finding out what fits my lifestyle, what gives me the most juice. And I'm having this conversation with you right now because you need to start thinking about it now, right? You don't want to get to that point where you're in a life position where you like how everything is, but there's no one pushing the envelope of growth. That's a tough place to be, right? It's not the end all. You can always change things, but it's probably going to disrupt your boat, your life a little bit, and that sucks, right? You have to find a way to do what you want, but still give the business the nutrients it needs to grow. And nutrients come in a lot of different forms when it comes to business. It's one, staying cutting edge, two, keeping your team up to speed, and three, always looking for the next opportunity. Now, strategy is knowing what to say no to. That's why I think having a core focus makes this a lot easier. In my office, we are very focused on dry eye ocular surface. That's a no-brainer. Whatever is coming down the pipeline for that, I am all ears. I'm putting all my effort and energy into that. So if it's coming out there, if there's something out there, I have to do it. Right? That just says you have to stay cutting edge. That makes things a lot easier in my world. Now, when it comes to active health and wellness, that's like MACD-Gen, supplements, nutrition, etc. That's a little bit harder because I don't know how much I care about those things to the same level as the dry eye, but we want to stay cutting edge to make sure we can do that level. I added the aesthetic portion of the business again because I think that complements the dry eye ocular surface. I think that actually trump the ocular health and wellness component at this point. We're becoming very specialized because I think that's an area that has legs and longevity. I'm putting a lot of chips in that basket. I'm not abandoning the ocular health and wellness aspect because if things get crazy, glaucoma and macular degeneration, always going to be there. I absolutely know that is something that we can do. So that's the other route I can go, right? Those are the core principles that I'm looking at. Optical is a core part of what we do. To be honest with you, I want to build up my business in such a way that optical, I could take it or leave it. It's too easy of a business for me to completely abandon. And I see that completely as something that I can delegate to someone else. Like if I totally am done with optical, I can hire someone to run an optical. That is the easiest thing that we can delegate in our businesses. But you just have to be willing to pay someone to do it right. The clinical aspect is much harder, right? But that's my way of staying cutting edge, not getting to a place where I'm going to have to give up things I love and enjoy, and my life will become the office again. I've worked really hard to give myself work-life balance. I say that with quotation marks because it never shuts off. I just have 3 hours a day where I'm at football practice that I don't think about it. When I get done with practice, I'm putting out fires, I'm making phone calls, I'm doing all the things, but you become more efficient at it. You become better at it, and you delegate more because you literally don't have the time. It's one of the best things that I've done is taking myself out of the practice to let other people grow, right? And that's the thing. If you're stagnated, have you given other people around you the opportunity to grow? A lot of things that I hear are, oh, they're not ready, they can't do this. Well, have you given them the chance? Have you taken some of your comfort things that you've always done and given them to someone else? Think about it. There's a lot of things that I used to do that I thought only I could do. There's so much that goes on in my practice right now that I don't really know what's going on. However, I have checks and balances, so I'm keeping track of the big picture. And then occasionally something will come in. It's not how I want things done. It's not how I would do it. And we adapt. We have a conversation. We make a checkpoint so that won't happen again. You have to give up a little bit of control to get a whole lot of growth. So, whether you're starting cold, you haven't started practice, you've had a practice for 20 years, this is a conversation you need to have with yourself. You need to have with your management team. How do you set yourself up for the life that you want and keep the business growing? If it dies because you're not putting energy into it, you don't have a very good business. right? And I say that to myself, completely calling myself out. I'm not calling anyone else out on this because literally this is me talking to myself. Because for about 10 years there, we didn't grow because I didn't put the energy in. It was 100% on me. When I started delegating, I started to get hungry and make some moves. We've had exponential growth because I delegated and got things off my plate and trusted my team and got better players on my team that allow me to do what I'm best at. And know what the one thing, probably the biggest thing that has allowed me to grow more is I got someone else to get in there and do the exams. That's what us doctors, we're trained to do when we think we're the best at, and no one else could ever see a patient like I do. They can. They do. You're not that good. And that's great. But not everyone can run the business or guide the business. That's a better word. Guide the business. Because you don't need to run it, you need to guide it. Very few people can do that. That's where your energy should be at. And this involves reading, audiobooks, YouTube videos, talk to other people, networking. You got to get better at that. That's hard to do. Staying up on clinical care and that, not many people can, right? I'll openly admit I am very good at my wheelhouse of optometry, but you start getting off into the weeds, start looking out into retina, glaucoma, mac degen. I'm not cutting edge. I'm not the best. I'm not doing my patients a disservice. I'm not bad by any means, but I'm not the best. Ocular surface disease and dry eye, I like to think I can hang with most people. Right? We have all the tools, the toys. I stay up to date as much as I possibly can. Can always be better, but I can hang there. Right? The rest is going towards the practice of optometry, the business, guiding it. So have that conversation with yourself. This is the beauty of optometry. You can start right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. Yesterday's gone. Today, right now, you listen to this podcast, start having the conversation, make the changes, guide the business, and grow. We'll have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We're to the closing thought of the episode, and I'll leave you with this. Derek Sivers. Here's how to live. Create. 12/23/2021. The most valuable real estate in the world is the graveyard. There lie millions of half-written books, ideas never launched, and talents never developed. Most people die with everything still inside them. The way to live is to create. Die empty. Get every idea out of your head and into reality. Calling yourself creative doesn't make it true. All that matters is what you've launched. Make finishing your top priority. When most people see modern art, they think, I could do that. But they didn't. That is the difference between consumer and creator. Which would you rather be? Someone who hasn't created anything in years because you're so busy consuming? Or someone who hasn't consumed anything in years because you're so busy creating? Boom. That's why I make podcasts, why I try to write things, why I go to work every day trying to get 1% better. I don't always succeed, but that's my mentality. I always want to be in the game. When I listen to podcasts, most of the things I listen to are people that are doing something in this world. They're creating their businesses. They're talking about people that have done things in business. I love that because when I listen, I think about me and what I can do. Always staying hungry, always staying in the game. If you're listening to this podcast, you have that juice. It's in you, right? Whether that's being the best optometrist you can be as an associate, owning the dry eye space, whether it's starting your practice, who knows, it could be creating art of some sort. I don't care what it is, but get out there and do. Stop talking about it. No one cares what you say. They only care about what you do. That's what I have. Dr. Lily out.